The Hudson School of Agriculture Equine Center is proud to offer a new horse riding lesson program this summer. The program offers English and Western disciplines. Here in the studio to tell us more about this is Calyn Colston. Calyn, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
So this starts in June, and Western and English discipline, is that what you said? Tell us the difference between those two disciplines.
Well, in the Western, you ride in a stock saddle, which is a saddle with a horn. It's a little different style of riding. You sit back a little further with your leg underneath of you, and you'll do things like horsemanship, which is how pretty the rider looks on top of their horse, control of their horse, and then like Western pleasure. And then the English is in an English saddle that doesn't have a horn. And then you focus on things like hunter-jumper type things, preparing for if you were planning to jump, and a little more of a forward seat style of riding.
So what's your age limit? Is there an upper limit and a lower limit?
Riders must be 8 years or older. There's no limit above 8. And then we just want to make sure the riders have the maturity level to handle an hour of a lesson of riding.
And you're in Western Kentucky, which is not necessarily the bluegrass region, but it is still horse country here. Can a rider bring their own horse if they want to?
A rider can. We'll do that on a case-by-case basis. So the first lesson, the rider would bring their horse if they were interested in that, and we would do the lesson on that horse. And if I felt like it was going to work out, then we could continue with that. If I felt like the rider needed a different horse to better themselves, then I would suggest using a school horse.
Is any one of those two styles any more challenging? There's the Western style and then the English style?
No, they each have their own challenges. It's just a difference in what you're working on.
Okay, and so the type of horse that your riders will be using for the lesson?
Mainly we'll be using quarter horses, which is the majority of what we have at the Equine Center. We do have a couple thoroughbreds available for use, but that will be more upper level riders doing the English lessons.
And if I were a parent, probably one of my concerns would be safety. Tell me about the safety of the rider during the lesson.
Absolutely. Well, the riders are required to wear a helmet. They must provide their own ASTM or SCI certified riding helmet. So they would need to purchase that if they didn't have one already. The beginning of the lessons would start with safety, especially with beginner riders who have never handled horses before or rode. We would go through all the safety of how to handle a horse, prepare a horse for tacking, grooming, and then they would tack the horse themselves, and then we would prepare to ride and then ride the horse the rest of the lesson. So especially with the beginners, we'll begin with that safety first. I will not allow them on a horse until they're comfortable handling the horse on the ground.
And do you have to have special training to be able to conduct these types of lessons?
We don't have, mainly we have just history and education of that, no certified riding.
So tell me again about the timeline of this. It begins in June. How long will these lessons last?
It begins in June and they'll go until classes start in the fall. Once the classes start, we'll be using the horses a lot more, so there won't be any extra time to ride them outside of the classes.
And is there a cost, and how do people get in contact with you about participating?
Absolutely. Our cost, we're offering a private lesson for $40 an hour or a semi-private lesson, which is 2 people, for $60 an hour, which would be $30 per person. And then to get in contact with me, there would be my email at ccolston@murraystate.edu, or give me a phone call at 314-607-7860. And then also we're introducing a new Equine Center Facebook page, hopefully tomorrow, where they'll be able to grab a lot more information on the lessons and the type of program we have.
Well, Calyn, thanks so much for stopping by. It sounds like a really fun program for the summer.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.